Judy Bory,
Here.
Cheryl Hall,
Here.
Pam Kraus,
Here.
Yvonne Cruiser,
Here.
Vivian Reisky,
Here.
Vera Walters,
Here.
Lori Wine.
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right. Request motion to accept agenda.
I move
I
that we accept
move
the
we
agenda.
accept the agenda.
I second the motion.
All right, thank you.
Who did the second?
I think two of us said it.
Cheryl.
I was the second.
Okay, Judy Bory,
Yes.
Cheryl Hall,
Yes.
Pam Kraus,
Yes.
Yvonne Cruiser,
Yes.
Vivian Reisky,
Yes.
Vera Walters,
Yes.
Lori Wine.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay. The library director member, or librarian report, the library director, member of the library staff, or those individuals designated by the library direct may present information pertinent to items under consideration or information related to the operation of the library, including the library monthly report. No discussion should take place or such items except for clarification, comment, or inquiries related to substance, time, and location. Update or current events in the library.
Okay, I'm trying to get the slideshow open. Having difficulty.
Should I read that slower for you then?
I click, but nothing happens.
Did you double click?
Oh, yes.
I
Something's
double-
happening.
Yeah, I did this before.
It's not responding.
Okay, I'll give it another second. Well, let's start with library statistics, because that's on a different page. All right. So you received in your email last week statistics for the library from the months of April and May. This is the April, and the last month column is from March. And then the May is here with April behind it. So the one big thing that I noticed right away was our e-content number grew drastically for May. And I'll have to go back to look more closely at which product or products of our digital download resources accounted for that big jump. We didn't add anything extra to it this month, did we? Not that I remember either. I was trying to think if we got a new product or started counting anything in a different fashion, but not that we can remember, because I think we would have made note of that. Otherwise, most of the statistics have stayed pretty steady. Patron visits down a little bit, but that's because everybody was home on their internet looking at the e-content. And of course, we did lots of programs. May was the beginning of the summer reading program, the last week. So some of these programs are from that, but most of them are just our everyday, normal, well-attended events that we do all the time. Outreach events, obviously we're down because May it's kind of hot, so we weren't doing a whole lot outside. Our Dungeons and Dragons group has, I was told last night we had 21 kids show up for it, so it is growing. So that's becoming a very popular program. You'll see Bibliobites is a bigger number than all of the other adult programs, because that number is a combination of physical people that come to the library to watch Bibliobites, which is a cooking program using our cookbooks that are from the library. But we also count our virtual attendance from Facebook and Instagram, so that's why our numbers are higher for that one. Oh, and we did do some outreach to the schools, though, for SRP. So you'll see SRP stands for Summer Reading Program. So we went to Four Peaks and Peralta for that. And I think we missed the Desert Vista Summer Reading Program outreach. We normally go to their last assembly of the year to do the outreach and tell them about summer reading, and I believe Desert Vista did it really early this year, so we just missed it. But we did go to their Keys to Kindergarten event, and that's where they invite all of the upcoming kindergartners to come visit the school and meet their teachers. So we had a table there where we told parents about the Fun Day and Parenting Education Program, and also gave them library resources and invited them to come to the library to get a library card. I'm going to go back here and see if, nope. All right, well, I had cute pictures. Seems like every month, PowerPoint doesn't like us. So I'll just tell you about our featured events for the last month or two, and then fill you in on some upcoming events. Books and Brews, if you haven't heard of Books and Brews, it is a partnership with the Handlebar Pub and Grill here on the trail. So we're going there once a month on Thursday, the third Thursday of the month, from 6:30 to 8. The first meetup, I believe there was, of course I would ask that, wouldn't I? I forgot how many people showed up. I want to say it was in the 30s, 35 people, 37 people. So it was well attended, and on that one, we just asked people to share a book that they'd read recently that they wanted to recommend. And I believe there's some library board members that may have attended that. So that was well attended this past month. We asked everybody to share a mystery book. And then for next month, it's historical fiction. So it's a fun program. It gets everybody, out in a nice, casual, relaxed atmosphere to share books, have a beer, or not have a beer. But yeah, everyone seems to be really enjoying it at this point.
Who's in charge of that?
That would be Vicky, Megan C., and Megan S.
Okay.
Yep, it's kind of a joint effort.
Is that going to continue?
Vivian?
How long is it going to continue since, I'm 7 months pregnant and participate in the brew part?
What'd you say? I
How
couldn't.
long is it going to continue?
Oh, the Books and Brews. Oh, well, I don't think they have a finite ending point at this time. They were trying it out to see how it went. I know their summer months at the Handlebar are a little bit quieter because of the winter visitors going home and because it's hot outside and they have limited indoor seating. So I know they were very receptive to us doing it in the summer months. We'll have to see what happens in the fall, but I'm assuming it would at least be July and August. We'll see what happens in September. So yeah, I want to go one night too. I've read some historical fiction. Our summer reading program started the May 23rd. It is a virtual program in terms of logging reading minutes, and it's for all age groups. There's a preschool program, a kids program, teens, and adult. Everybody earns prizes as they read for the summer. So the prizes are different, obviously, for different age groups. But the adults this year actually have some really cool prizes. I should have brought some, but you get an Apache Junction Public Library canned koozie. Ooh, that you can bring to Books and Brews. The theme of the program is Oceans of Possibilities. I was going to show you this really cool picture, and Megan Carbiner, our outreach librarian, when she did the outreach events at the school, she dressed up as a puffer fish. And I was going to show you that picture, but maybe next month. So it's Oceans of Possibilities. Oh, the adult prizes are a canned koozie, and I think that's 250 minutes. A stress ball, but it's not a ball, it's a stress fish. And it says Apache Junction Public Library in it, and it's really cool looking. It's orange and blue and red. And then I forgot what the third prize is because I didn't bring my list. And then the last prize, though, is a $5 gift card for, I believe it's fries. So some pretty nice prizes, and then they get entered into if you finish the program, you get entered into a raffle or a drawing for a season pass for the Boyce Thompson Arboretum. So somebody will get really lucky and win that. Did any of you sign up?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, make sure you do. I should have brought the flyer with me. So there's an app you can get to download to your phone, or if you go to the library website and go to the summer reading page, there's a link you can click on. You can do it on your computer. I really wish I could show you this slideshow. Oop, that's not us. I'm gonna try one. No, it's still. Okay, I give up. Oh, no. We don't normally do a lot of craft programs for adults, but Megan Carbiner, our outreach librarian, decided to try one out, and it was a couple weeks ago. It was a lighthouse craft, which kind of goes along with the oceans theme for summer reading. And if you're on Facebook, you may have seen the pictures. It was adorable. They made lighthouses out of clay planters, you know, the terracotta ones with a hole on the bottom. So they made them to look like a lighthouse. They painted them. And we were really surprised to find that a lot of moms and daughters came together, or grandmas and daughters or granddaughters. So it was like a lot of pairs of girls, mostly girls. So that was really cool. I believe she had about 20 people attend for that, which was really good. Last Saturday was our Women in Space program. This was partially funded through a NASA STEM grant that Penny Brumbaugh, our youth supervisor, obtained in the amount of $400, enough to do a really fun program. It was for all ages and for boys and girls, but the focus was to try to get girls especially more interested in the STEM careers. And they had some really cool activities. They had about 115 people come to the event between 10 and 2 o'clock on Saturday. One of the events was a mission control room where they got to be in our dark storytime room, and there was a gentleman that has a program where he actually brings the kids, has them in mission control and brings them to space. So that was one of the highlights. They had tons of different activities, from crafts to, different activities where they learned about different space things. They had some Zoom talks with real women who work in space careers. And fun was had by all. They had a little passport, so every time they did an activity, they got a stamp, and at the end, they got to pick a really cool NASA sticker at the end. So we were really pleased to offer that. And this kind of leads into an event we're doing next month. It is a career fair. So there will be some local businesses, manufacturers, industry, and trades there from the local area. They're going to provide information about jobs and careers and employment opportunities, and also offer assistance with applications, resumes, and cover letters. This is in partnership with Arizona at Work, and it's Saturday, July 16th from 10 to 2. We're also encouraging teens to come to this so they can start learning about different careers that are in the area and what types of education they need to get to reach those careers, and what those careers look like. What kind of tasks would they be doing? And that is all that I had prepared tonight for the June Librarians Report. And once again, I'm sorry about the slideshow.
Pam?
There was a
Pam,
really cute dog on it.
Can I ask a question? On the careers, did you include nonprofits in that group of career possibilities?
I will ask Penny. Penny is the coordinator of that program, our youth services supervisor. I'll ask her who she's reached out to thus far, and I will let you know.
Oh,
Did you have any nonprofits in mind?
well, no, I was just thinking that, our community has quite a few nonprofits
Yes, we
that,
do.
work in our community, and it might be, advantageous for some of the teens to take a look at some of those.
Okay, yeah, I agree. I'm assuming she has, but I don't know definitely who she's reached out to and received confirmation on at this point.
Okay.
And lucky her, she's at the American Library Association conference right now, so so she's out having fun and learning library stuff. done.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, discussion and possible vote for approval for Apache Junction Library Board of Trustees 2021 and 2022 annual report. And
Okay, so you have a paper copy of the report in front of you, and then there's one on the screen. So in this year's annual report, I wanted to highlight our biggest accomplishments, which include the Story Walk and our seed library. So those were the two kind of highlight things, and they go together with the theme of planting new seeds to grow, kids going to the Story Walk to grow their minds, grow their bodies, and our seed library.
Question.
Yes.
What do you mean by today's libraries are third places?
So third places is a term where it means, you know, everybody, well, most people, you know, their first place is home, their second place is work, their third place might be school, if they go to school, but a lot of people's third places is the library.
Okay.
Because they go there to connect, to get resources, information. Yep. Oh, geez. Insufficient data for this image.
Try to reduce the size of the screen, see if that helps. I don't know that it will.
Up here?
Yeah.
Oh, now I just lost the whole thing. Well, you have it in front of you. One of these meetings, we're going to have no technological issues. Further on, we talk about our makerspace, the Creation Zone, which is now fully open and ready for people to come visit it. We're doing a program for that next month, where we're going to showcase some of the different tools that are in the makerspace. It is for all ages, to learn how to use the 3D printer. We have a poster printing machine, a Cricut maker, and we have our Cricut expert here at this meeting tonight. And the digitization station, which is the machine that can convert MP3s to MP4s and VHS to digital files. So we're going to have like an open house type setup where we have some of our staff demonstrating how those things work, and then making something small to give to people to remind them about the makerspace and to come back and make an appointment to learn on their own how to use them. There's a page in here on outreach. Megan Carbiner is the outreach librarian there on the left with the yellow bee hat. And she's been doing a phenomenal job at reaching out to different organizations in the community, including the schools, to get better acquainted with everyone and to find out people's needs and to tell them more about the library and everything we have to offer. So we're really excited for her to continue that journey this year, and I've got some news about that in another agenda item. Volunteer appreciation, you might recognize somebody in that picture who volunteers for us and does so many things for us. Thank you, Vera.
Thank you.
That is her program on, it was called Birds of the Southwest?
Sonoran does.
Sonoran Desert, thank you, yes. Well-attended program, everybody thoroughly enjoyed you. Some other pictures of Friends of the Library members that work in our bookstore. It takes a lot of time to sort through all those books and price them and get them on the shelves in the right spots and do all that stuff and sort everything, so we are really gracious to have them on board. And lastly, we have our statistics. And I'm happy, very happy to say that we have gone up in every statistic on this page from last year. Our library visits are up 29,000 from last year.
Wow.
New library card registrations are up 1,000. Wi-Fi usage in the building or outside the building, up 4,500. Computer sessions using our library in-house computers are up 2,800. Volunteers hours were up 1,400, and our in-person program attendance was up 5,000. In terms of circulation, that is also up approximately 9,000 from last year. Physical circulation rose 4,500, and e-content circulation up 5,200. So we've been really striving to keep the library in everybody's minds in the community, to invite everybody back after COVID, to supply them with the education and services and programs that they want. Our early literacy programs are busting at the seams. It's just, I've heard about the airports busting at the seams, so I guess it's happening everywhere. We're talking about actually adding another baby program to our Storytime Roundup because we just have so many 0 to 3-year-olds that come to Young and Restless, which is our baby program. Yes, yes. And I have to take full credit for that name because I came up with it. And then at the end, of course, we have our financials page and our assets. Our seed library did very well this year. We did kind of oversell ourselves in terms of how many seeds we thought people would want to check out. And so currently we are out. But we are working on getting more seeds out really soon. We have a program coming up next month with Lavere Kurtz, who is the Earth Heart Park master gardener over at Horizon. He was actually at the council meeting on Tuesday night, and he mentioned the library, how we're doing a master gardener program in July, and they're also going to fill seed packets at that time to have them ready for checkout. We are going to lower our seed checkout, however. We were doing 3 seed packs per family or per household per week. We're going to change it to per month, which is more in line with what other nearby libraries that have seed libraries are doing. So that way we can have a little bit breathing room, because it takes a lot of time to put seeds in packets and get them out for the public. So did anybody have any questions about the annual report?
All right. Require a motion for this? Request a motion to accept the agenda?
To approve
I-
the report.
To
Or
the
approve.
financial statement?
I make a motion that we accept the financial, or the annual report.
All right, can I have a second?
I'll second that.
Roll call, please.
Judy Boring,
Yes.
Cheryl Hall,
Yes.
Pam Kraus,
Yes.
Yvonne Cruiser,
Yes.
Vivian Reisky,
Yes.
Vera Walters,
Yes.
Lori Wine.
Yes.
Motion passes.
And I'd like to just say, I think I'm just really excited about how great you guys are doing in bringing up all of these numbers. I mean, it's just phenomenal what you've done. A lot of hard work on your part.
Thank you. I will share that with the staff, because it's definitely a reflection of them. We're just hopefully leading them on that path to getting us back, hopefully where we once were, and building us up back better and bigger than we ever were before. So thank you for that.
All right, we'll move on to number 2, update and possible discussion of the library strategic planning process.
Yes, so just some updates. We are still in that strategic planning process with Ms. Tony Garvey that you met a few months back. At our most recent meeting, which was early June, she gave the strategic planning committee some reviews, some summaries for them to review of the results of the focus group sessions and of the public and staff surveys. She also interviewed individuals from the city management office and city council, who are, our key stakeholders, and They were very helpful in identifying some areas of strengths and challenges, as were the public. The key stakeholders, they're very supportive of the library, and they just want us to continue to be up to date in both our appearance and our resources, but remain flexible as the city continues to grow and change. And the collective responses from the public and staff surveys and the focus group showed some clear areas for us to focus on for the plan. So we have identified 4 areas of goals, and I'll show you those now. So when Ms. Garvey was going through all of the data, and that includes our circulation reports from the last 5 years that shows which collections are circulating the most, which ones are not, and trying to find different paths for us to take to be the best library we can be, she identified 4 very clear, what she called buckets or goals for us to focus on. So the first one is to connect the Apache Junction community at the library and beyond. And this is my favorite one because it can take a lot of different, it has a couple different focuses. And when you're saying connect the community, some people immediately think outreach. We're gonna go out, we're gonna connect people, we're gonna give them resources, we're gonna provide them with books, information, whatever they need. But then on the other hand, there's the people that think connecting means internet. We're gonna give them hotspots. We're gonna check out other things to get them, on the World Wide Web so that they can be successful. So that's my favorite goal because we can take it in a lot of different directions. And actually technology was one thing that came up in some of the summaries and some of the focus groups. We have our maker space, we're gonna soon have our AV studio open, and we have a lot of computers and things for people to access. But as the technology keeps changing, we also have to keep up with that. Windows 11 just came out. And that means a lot of our technology is gonna have to be replaced within the next 4 years as Windows 10 gets phased out. So there's a lot of planning on our part for that type of thing. The city right now is undergoing a big infrastructure change in terms of internet fiber being installed throughout the city and even down in the south parts that's gonna be growing. And a lot of that involves the library because currently we're in a intergovernmental agreement with Pinal County's educational association, the ESA, where we are able to get really great rates on internet as a public library, and they are able to provide us with amazing infrastructure. And if you've been on the board for a couple of years, you probably remember some of those talks way in the when I first started about how we're getting what's called Zayo is the name of the internet service provider. Well, the city is now starting to jump on the same thing, and they're getting different internet service providers in here as well to make the city faster and more reliable, because a lot of the fiber that is currently in the city is like 25 years old, and it just can't support the bandwidth any longer. But enough of the tech talk. So I love this goal because, starting with an outreach librarian last year, the purpose was for us to get out in the community and not have that thing that we hate to say when people come to the library and they say, yeah, we've lived here 10 years and we didn't even know you were over here. So, those are the types of things we're trying to change. Goal 2 has to do with communication, which Tony Garvey, the consultant, said is something that comes up probably in every single one of the strategic plans she works on with libraries, both internal communication, staff to staff, and also external staff to the public. So we're going to be working on communicating efficiently, effectively, and accurately with patrons and staff. And there will be, of course, strategies underneath all of these. I did meet with our administrative staff at the library last week. We came up with strategies for each goal, and they were sent to Tony for her review and her thoughts, and she's on vacation this week, so she's going to get back to me next week, and I'll have more information about those at the next meeting. Goal 3 is about resources and services and programs. We heard a lot of people say, we want you to have more new books. We want to have more programs for adults. We want to have more family programs. We heard a lot of different things. So taking all those things together and making some strategies to really reflect what the community is wanting and needing. And the last one is facilities. So we want to uphold high standard for spaces that are welcoming, comfortable, well-maintained, and valued by the community. One of the top strengths that we found from the public surveys was that people did love coming to the library because they did find it a welcoming space, but there were some things that they felt that we could work on: more seating, more comfortable seating, updating some areas. There was a whole lot of different things, both inside the library and outside on the library grounds. So, like I said, we've come up with some strategies for the different areas that came up the most in those focus groups and surveys, and I will present those to you once we have talked about them with Tony and the rest of the committee again, hopefully at our next board meeting. Once we have established those strategies, the next step then is for administrative staff at the library to get together with key people and our staff to come up with the actions and the tactics we're going to create to fulfill the strategies. So it's going to be, this is what we're going to do, and it's even going to have who's going to do it and when they're going to do it by. So these are things that we're going to be revisiting over and over again. And a strategic plan is really a living document. It's not set in stone. So as we go forward with things, we might hit some roadblocks. We might see things differently. And so it's a document that can change, and that, over the next 3 to 5 years, it can look a little bit different at the end. But all in all, it's still going to focus on these 4 main goals. So does anybody have any questions about the strategic planning process?
All right, announcements of 2022 LSTA subgrant and express grant awards.
Okay, so I'm going to give you a little background on library grants, where we most often receive grants from. So there is an organization called the Institute of Museum and Library Services, which is an independent federal agency. Its acronym is IMLS, and they provide grants to state library administrative agencies, including the Arizona State Library, Archives, and Public Records. So we're under their purvey. They use a population-based formula to set certain standards for libraries and to issue grants. They provide, the Institute of Museum and Library Services, they provide funding to support libraries across the nation through what they call the Library Services and Technology Act, LSTA, and that's administered through each state library. So every year, the Arizona State Library has a grant process, and their grant process is built around a 5-year plan that details the different service goals that they want to reach, just like we're doing with our strategic plan. So there are different categories of areas where they are inviting Arizona libraries to apply to meet those different goals. So in May, we applied for one of the grants. I forgot what category it was in, but neither here nor there. In May, we were awarded an LSTA grant in the amount of $30,423. And the name of our project is Apache Junction Public Library Bookmobile Renovation, Enhancing Our Traveling Library and Technology Services. So we're super excited about this. what is going to happen is we have our current, oh, I guess I can close this now. We have our current bookmobile. There she is. You've never been inside her because right now she is not really conducive to going out into public with resources and books and materials. That is because the shelving that was installed originally on this vehicle, which is about 10 years old, was library shelving, but it wasn't bookmobile shelving, and there's a difference, because obviously bookmobiles are traveling, they have to be kind of angled and slanted. We've tried using this vehicle as a bookmobile in the past, and you pretty much every corner you take, all the books fall off on the floor. So a grant was written where we will be renovating the inside of the bookmobile with very nice shelving that is conducive to travel. And our goal is to provide equitable service to include older adults, children, and library non-users. And they could be a non-user due to homelessness, disability, limited literacy skills, lack of transportation, or lack of awareness of our services. So we're going to use the funds to retrofit our bookmobile. And it's also going to have some technology stations on there where we can actually replace a portion of the library shelves with kind of like desks. So they're like flat desks where you can put laptops and whatnot. So we're going to be able to provide information access, workforce development, and the attainment of digital literacy, early literacy, and life literacy skills to diverse backgrounds across the community. So we are super excited. We have not received the funds yet, but they should be here very soon. We have a company in Tempe is where this truck was originally purchased from. They are going to be installing the new shelving. And then in the meantime, our outreach librarian, our library supervisor that's in the circulation department, the library manager, and myself, we're going to be really working hard on developing what's going to be inside the bookmobile, what type of materials to offer based on where in the community we think we're going to be going. I have a map that I got from the GIS maps department from the city that actually identifies different areas in the community based on socioeconomic, I don't know what the word is, but, so we're going to try to target some areas that might not be library users, either because they're far away, people might not have transportation to come there and whatnot. So we're going to develop a bookmobile route with different stops, and we hope to offer that on a regular monthly basis so that everyone's going to be familiar with this vehicle and they'll know that this is the bookmobile coming around. We hope to hit up some mobile home parks, some retirement communities, some maybe assisted living areas, definitely the schools. So we've got a lot of work to do in terms of getting a collection on there and also developing our process for that. So that is one grant that we received. And we also received what's called an express grant. This express grant is called the Teen Connections Internship Express Grant. And we received that in the amount of $3,500, which it's just a blanket amount that every library that it's awarded gets. And its purpose is to support career and college readiness through a connected learning library internship for one teenager. So we're going to recruit applicants ages 16 to 17 years old for this internship position next February. They will actually be, they'll have to go through the application process just like anybody that wants to apply for a city job. So we'll work directly with the Human Resources Department on that. And this intern will work with their library mentor, who is Stephanie from the youth department. They're going to be able to identify a specific community-based learning project that they're interested in and that they want to fulfill through the library. so that they're learning skills that are going to be able to be passed on later to their college goals and their career goals. So they're going to be working from April through July, and we're really excited to see what this team comes up with. It gives them a nice head start to a wonderful thing to put on a resume and a college application. And hopefully they, kind of like an Eagle Scout, choose a really great community project that involves the library in some way in that process. So is there any questions about either one of those grants?
On the bookmobile, how long are your stops, or approximately how long?
We still need to determine that, and it might differ based on where we're going. Like if it's a school, they might be limited based on their day, how long they could maybe come to the bookmobile. For them, it might be like 30 minutes, or if, we're able to carve out a bigger time with them to do like a story time and time to check out books or whatnot. But, we're still doing research on that to see what kind of the norm is for other library systems across the nation that do bookmobiles. But, I think most of the time it's anywhere from like 30 minutes to an hour to give people time to get there. They might need to get a library card or might need to renew a library card, be able to browse. And if it's a technology stop as well, where we're going to maybe do workforce development skills or do some sort of a training, then it could be longer. But I would say probably on average, it'll be probably like an hour.
I had another question about the bookmobile. What's the accessibility for people who might be mobility challenged?
So this back door here, where the owl's head is, that door opened and there's a lift. So a wheelchair can definitely fit on there, so then we can bring them up into the bookmobile.
Any other questions? All right. Discussion and possible plan on how to best communicate library events to the public.
Okay, so this was requested as an agenda item from the last meeting, and let me say goodbye to the bookmobile. And I believe you have a paper copy in front of you of this because it was a lot of words. So a few months back, we did a brainstorm of ideas to promote library services because of the lack of a newspaper and other things of that nature. I took those ideas and I put them into kind of different categories. I put ideas we have not tried yet. I put them into ideas we are working on. Some of these down here that we are currently doing monthly are things that we were doing even before the brainstorming session, so that might not be things that were identified at that meeting. And then some additional things that we're doing that we wanted to make sure you knew about. And then I do want to give your attention to the bottom of this. This is from the summary of the public library survey we just did about how people are finding out what's happening at the library. So we were surprised. Now, we do have to remember the demographics for this survey, which I didn't tell you. I think it was like 60-some-odd% were over the age of 50. So that does make a difference. Because we did do it during tax season, so we had a lot of people in there having their taxes done. But only 25% said that they get their library information from social media. So, we have a really good social media committee, like at the library, that manages Facebook and Instagram. But we have to remember that they're not in that demographic, and so they're excited about it, and we are reaching a lot of people by it, but we do have to remember that a lot of our patrons are either retired or over the age of 50. So 50% say they go to the library website. And I think that speaks a lot, because we have to make sure that our library website is accessible and easy to use and has updated information on at all times 42% cited flyers and posters in and around the library, and 28% said they find out about things from word of mouth, which we knew was a good portion, but it's not one that we can rely on.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
It also doesn't say how many people took part in the survey, so like 50%.
Yeah, so this doesn't equal 100. That's true. We had, I think it was 600?
Wow.
About right around 600 people complete the survey.
Okay.
Yeah,
Makes a big difference.
yeah. So take that, we need to keep that in consideration. That was just one survey, and obviously it wasn't a, a pure sample of our demographics of Apache Junction. So we got to take it with a grain of salt, but that is something to keep in mind. So here are some ideas we have not tried yet. A couple of them are because I don't even know where to start. Number 2, check with the post office if we can add a flyer or a calendar to the ad packs. I don't even know who to call. So some of these we might need a little, at least I would need a little bit of help to even have like a starting point for something like that.
So I guess the question maybe is maybe not put it in the ads, but, I mean, we're getting random political ads in your mailbox right now, right?
Right.
Yeah,
How do they do that?
They-
How do they get the addresses?
They pay for it.
Yeah,
And they get,
everybody's address.
I think it's public, with, like the voters stuff too.
Yeah.
I know
Right, yeah.
there's lists, you can buy access to lists,
Mm-hmm.
like of who's in your community and where they live and all that. But a lot of the times you get just stuff that just says to the resident at such and such address, so it's like a bulk mail.
Right.
Yeah,
So that would be costly, I feel.
right, yeah.
Doing something like that.
We used to get the Citizen monthly in our mailbox.
So, yeah, ideas we are working on, I do have, number 1, the Citizen. We have met with Parks and Recreation, Multi-Generational Center staff. We went with Liz and Jamie and Riley, who does a lot of their marketing. And they're able to do the Citizen like right now because I think they're paying for it. But Liz did say that the plan is for the Citizen to come back again and hopefully be funded by ads like it used to be. However, I talked to her yesterday and she said from what she's heard, that won't be available yet come fall. So we're, probably looking into next year, hopefully, to have the Citizen. Because I know that was, something that people looked at. It was like a one-stop place to look at stuff that was going on at parks, at the library, and police even had a little section on there. One thing we did do so far with MGC, we did meet with them once, and we're working on having like a regular schedule with them like 4 times a year to meet, to collaborate on different things. One thing we have done so far is we're sharing our promotional slides that we use within our buildings on our kiosks. We're sharing them with each other, at least a couple of them. So like right now, we have a slide on our kiosk about the zombie lock-in event at the MGC, which sounds awesome. And then we sent a slide to them to share on their kiosk. So we did find out that our kiosks use exactly the same size slide, so that was really easy. We just have to send it to them, and they pop it into their program, and it's ready to go. But we are looking at, we used to meet quarterly with them when the Citizen was around for us to both use it. We would meet and we would make sure that, it's a difficult thing to do, because like right now they said their deadline is June 27th to have all of their fall programs planned. So it's like you have to plan like 6 months in advance, which is really hard to do sometimes. But we have met with them. We're working on other ways that we can collaborate, share ideas, share events, do things in tandem. We're trying to prevent duplicating efforts. We did find out that we were offering a program that they already offered, and so we're trying to avoid that because, they want to get people at their programs just as much as we do, and we have the advantage since we don't have to charge, or we don't charge. So, yeah, we're working very nicely together. So far, it's been great, but there's a lot more to come. That was just kind of the initial meeting to just talk about ideas and then think about them for a little bit and let them marinate, and then but if you have any ideas for that, please let us know, because we can share that at our next meeting.
I see that 42% of the survey cited flyers and posters in around the library. And, the multi-gen has a lot of space. I know that people go into that kiosk in the library and take pictures of the events, which I think is a great idea.
Oh, good.
Rather than handing out all that paper.
Right.
And maybe a kiosk at the multi-gen with that same kind of information. would be
That's just like
valuable.
a library
They have-
kiosk at the multi-gen.
Right, they have a table right in the hallway to all the classes with all of their flyers that you can pick up, advertising everything that's going on at the multi-gen. But it would be nice to have something in there about the library too.
Yeah, we did talk briefly about that idea, about having our flyers there and their information at the library. We just weren't sure what it would look like at this point. We don't want to confuse people, I guess, a lot. Sometimes, people might pick up something at the library and they just assume it's a library thing, and then it could turn out to be the multi-gen. I don't know. We might be overthinking it, but, so we'll definitely talk about that again.
I've really appreciated the emails.
The library emails?
Yes.
Oh, good, yeah. So I have that on the biweekly programs email newsletter that just started, probably a month and a half ago. So every 2 weeks, it's just a quick, a quick 4 or 5 different things on it to look at. If you're part of any other library system, most library systems have something like that. They use like Constant Contact, or we're using MailChimp. MailChimp is free, which is nice, until you get to a certain number of subscribers, and then you have to pay. But at this point, it's free for us. We need to promote it more. We do have like a slide on the kiosk. We mention it in programs. We were trying to have like a sign-up sheet at all the different programs for people to sign up for that newsletter. Sometimes it gets forgotten. We ask people when they come to the library service desk, when they're getting a card or renewing their card, staff are supposed to ask, would you like to subscribe to our library programs newsletter? And then we also have another newsletter that's all about our new materials, Wowberry. So yeah, that it's a lot for staff to remember, so we're getting there. But yeah, it's fun to be able to pick out a couple things that are coming up in the next few weeks for people to hopefully plan or talk about a new service. So good, I'm glad you subscribed. And there is a subscription. People are able to self-subscribe on the website too. They don't have to come into the library to do it.
So have you thought to take the burden off of the staff to remember to do this? Have you thought about doing something like a QR code that people could take a picture of on their phone and just have it immediately take them to a sign up online?
We do have a flyer on one of our, it's on that triangle looking thing by the service desk. We do have a QR code for the programs newsletter there for people to do. It would probably be great if we actually put it on the paper calendar. Maybe, see, this is why we do this. Do you have any other places where you think it might be a good thing?
Well, I mean, people can self-check out, something by the self-checkout,
Okay.
where they could just take a picture and then they do it without having to bother the staff at the
That's a good
central
idea.
area.
I like that.
I don't know, there was probably 4 or 5 other places where, outside of some of the big rooms that you get a lot of traffic in, by the kids' reading area, you know.
Okay.
Or the research computers, or the
Possibly,
research.
yeah. Those would all be good places. I mean, I'm thinking of people who are most likely to use QR codes are people who are a little more tech savvy, and pretty much any parent of young children at this point is very tech savvy. So.
About the kids.
That's true.
One more thing.
Sure, Rebecca.
You have a whole page in the Superstition Living magazine,
Sometimes we have 2 pages.
and it's all, the pages that I've read are all recommendations from different people in the library on what books to read.
Yeah, the staff picks.
Yeah, I wonder if that could be condensed a little bit, and then the calendar put in there at the bottom, so that you're kind of killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Everybody knows what's going on all month at the library, as well as some books to recommend. Just a thought.
I agree. This past month, I think we just had staff picks at it, but the month before, there was 1 page with the staff picks, and then another page that had some, I think it was the writer in residence.
Right,
Yeah.
there were
yeah.
events, but
And then I think the lighthouse craft made it into one of the issues, because I took a phone call, somebody was asking about it, and I'm like, oh, so where'd you find out about this? From Superstition Living. I'm
I
like,
didn't
oh,
see that one.
yeah, so yeah, I was really surprised at the number of people that actually, does that get automatically delivered to your homes?
No, I get it from a friend.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't get it at all. I'm not eligible. I
That's
get
my
us.
question. Who gets those? How many are distributed?
I have no-
Who gets those?
Yeah, I don't know where they get them or
Is it
how they
Gold
get them.
Canyon?
Gold Canyon gets them
That's what I was thinking.
automatically, but I have a friend that lives out on Val Vista, and she gets it for some reason, and she gives it to me because I'm more interested than she is.
Well, and we do have a stack of them at the Chamber of Commerce too. You know, in other words, we get a couple of boxes from Superstition
Oh,
Living.
okay. I bet you
So
guys
they
go
can-
through them quick.
And they pick them up pretty quick.
Yeah, okay. Well, maybe they can deliver some to the library.
First, you're right,
That's
right at
an
the end of
idea.
the month for the first of the month.
It's a good little magazine.
It is. It's really well done. Yeah. I believe the Seed Library was in there 1 month when that first came out, you know, because most of the things in it are about
Gold Canyon.
planting and birds. And wasn't your program in there? No? Could have swore it was. I'll have to go look. You can see, you can go to their website and look at past issues. So if you do want to
Okay.
see what it's about, yeah.
I have an answer for number 8 for you.
Number 8?
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta,
Find out what teachers are using to send out announcements.
yes. You-
So we use Nextdoor and Class Dojo.
You did mention Class Dojo before. Do you know, is Class Dojo like a free?
Yeah. 100% free.
So does your whole school use it, or just select teachers?
The whole school has access to it, yeah. And you have the option of having individual classes. So with your programs, they could send out announcements for just their programs, but then there's a all-encompassing like newsletter page that you have that's essentially your home page where all of the normal library business would be. And then if you wanted to have individual groups for your other programs, you could set it up that way.
Does your school allow other organizations to use your account to send out stuff to your parents, or is it all just school stuff?
That would be a very great question to ask.
That's why I'm
I'll
asking.
ask the next time I go to work.
Yeah, lucky you. Okay, well,
Yeah.
yeah, that's definitely, Because we know that there are, if that's already going to those parents, to jump on that bandwagon would be awesome, rather than recreate our own, because then at some point, we're gonna have like too many things. So,
Right.
right, at Class Dojo, and the other thing you said was
Next door,
next door.
which is also free.
We have a Nextdoor account, but it's a business account, and we really can't do a whole lot on it without paying.
Oh,
So I probably should find out more about how much it is.
yeah. And then something I found out just recently, because they did an update to the system, but Ring, the company that makes the doorbells and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
there's a community page if you have a Ring doorbell. So people could say, oh, we're doing this event in this neighborhood, and
Okay.
it's like a community-based garage seller. Oh, lock your doors, somebody's been trying to break in, or oh, coyote spotted over here. So now that we have the option of posting interesting things that are going on, that might also be something worth looking into, since that's also free.
Okay, yeah, I'll have to see. Because I have Ring, and I know there's like a chat thing on there where like people are like, I lost my dog, and they
Yeah.
post a picture of him. Is that kind of what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
It might be a good way to utilize volunteers too. You know, as a volunteer, I'd be glad to put things on Nextdoor.
Ooh.
And you can do that as a private citizen for no charge. And hey, this is what is going on at the library this month, and have your volunteers spread out and get the word out. Also, how about Wow Library? How is that working? I read that, the whole thing.
Do you read the whole thing?
Oh, you bet.
I mean, we have a back end where we can see like how many people clicked through on different things, how many, placed holds on something they clicked. You know,
Put events on there.
we can't put events on there, but we do have the calendar on there. So the calendar has all the events. It does have some limitations, but overall, I mean, it costs $500 a year. It's like super cheap. So I've really liked it. I think it's really, people that really want to know the newest stuff that's coming out and be able to immediately place a hold on those things. It's been great for the collection. They keep coming out with new things it can do, like quarterly, and Megan C., our outreach librarian, she's kind of taken that over to investigate more on other things it can do for us.
Resource.
Yeah. So we need to investigate that a little bit more to get full advantage of all it has to offer.
So if 50% of the people going to the library website, out of the 600 people that responded to the survey, are you thinking at all about doing some things on the library, on the site, about asking, regular questions on a very regular basis, just a single question per month or something, that's just to gather input on a topic that you want to know more about?
That's a good idea.
Just to get more traffic to it and more,
Possibly.
that way they'll go to other places to,
So, I mean, this is what I do.
I know.
And one of the things that is critical for people to continue to give feedback is a sense that their feedback actually is listened to. So if you do something like this, then you're going to need to also devote space to telling people what you did with the last thing they told you. And I would definitely suggest that you take some of what we've got here and post. This is, we went out and we asked the community for input into how this library should continue to serve or improve its services. And here's some of the things that you told us. It's really critical for them to know, yes, they actually heard me.
Right.
And it gives them the incentive to continue to tell you stuff.
Mhm.
I'm gonna pick your brain more on that a little bit more, like outside of, we'll have to set up some,
Set up some time. Just-
yeah,
Yeah.
so I can get the full,
Mondays and Fridays are really good for me because I work from home, so.
okay.
All right, any additional questions?
Pam, you've been really quiet. I know you have ideas.
Not tonight.
Not tonight?
It's been a rough day, so. Enjoy
Um,
your day.
Let's look at the couple of things that we still haven't tried yet. Welcome to the neighborhood insert of what the library has to offer when homes south of the freeway are completed. I mean, if we're gonna do that, we'd probably want to test it first up even before then. Once again, I'm not quite sure where to go for that. I've looked, one of you guys gave a website like Welcome Home or something. I think it was you, Pam, or Move.
There's Porch is something that, when I moved here, that was like, and they constantly, they connect with me maybe once every 3 months, just saying, hey, we've got people in your area doing X types of house, house improvement work. But have you thought at all about maybe connecting with the realtors in the area who serve the area and finding out how they communicate? And maybe we can surf off of what they do.
Okay, that's a good one.
I mean, I can connect you up with the woman who helped me get my house, and she sends out something monthly to me and all of the people who buy houses from her.
Mm-hmm.
She's very good at keeping the connection going, and I suspect that we might be able to get some ideas from her and maybe have her come and speak.
Okay.
I'm sure she would be happy to do it.
Is Welcome Wagon still around?
That's what I think about when I think about that, welcome wagon. And I know when we bought our home, we got like a little packet, but I don't know, like, who
Yeah, do you know who
knows these
provided
things?
it? Or?
Maybe the realtor, like, that's a good,
That or the Chamber.
how do they know
Mm-hmm.
that you're new in the neighborhood? And who are they?
Yeah.
They're not welcome, they're not called Welcome Wagon anymore, I don't believe.
So, we're showing our age.
I know, right?
Yeah. I'm gonna write that down again, though, because somehow somebody knows.
Yeah.
Was it like did they mail you something, or?
Mhm, and it was like coupons and,
Yeah, I think I got
things.
that last time I moved too, mailed,
like, welcome to the neighborhood, and there'd be different solicitations, basically, but it's stuff
Yeah.
they know that you are looking for.
It wouldn't be through the newspaper, would it?
And
Through
at
the
that time, when
newspaper?
we had more garbage services, I think that was one that was in there, like,
Or the utility
I'm
company?
thinking they
It's
either
gotta
pull it
be
off a
connected.
public record,
Yeah.
Oh, wait, public
realtors.
records.
public record,
that could be.
or they're connected through the post office with forwarding addresses.
right?
okay.
That's the only way I can think that they would know, like when your
Right.
deed is recorded at the
Mhm,
public, that it becomes public record.
right. Could be.
But,
So if there's a way to get it printed out and just mailed to those people, like, to get a report of those deeds, if there's a way to get, like,
Yeah, yeah.
mm-hmm.
Good thing I'm a librarian and I can research this stuff. So number 4, I guess we really haven't done a tracking survey for new users. But that would be probably not too hard to do when people come up to get a library card and we
Yeah,
ask,
is
if it's just something that staff's just gonna have to remember to
Right,
ask.
and
That's the
what you were
hardest part.
saying.
This is another place where the QR code could work, is just have it, hey, we'd really like to get some input as to your experience as a new user. just take a picture of this, and it'll just immediately take them to a website where they can fill out 1 or 2 or 3 questions.
Okay. Okay.
That way they wouldn't have to remember, because it would be right there. I mean, they might, maybe you give that with the card. This is a little QR code, please take the survey right now while you're standing here.
Or could it be added to the card? Or
Ooh,
would you put it on the card itself?
yeah, I suppose you could.
When someone
The
comes
prints
to
are
get a
different.
library card for the first time, are they given any information? I mean, like a welcome to the library and here's all we have to offer?
Yeah, we have a general brochure that goes over, you know,
Right,
highlights of, you know,
What's
Okay.
available?
how many things they can check out and how many of certain things and holds and, you know, and then it's got like little blurbs on there about the Seed Library and some of the other, you know, resources.
So that's a packet?
It's a brochure,
Oh, it's a brochure.
yeah.
and that could include, if you'd like to sign up for our newsletter,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
so they
Well,
can sign up there.
That's where you could also include the question of how they found out. Because then you could just attach it with the brochure, and then they wouldn't have to remember to ask, because it would be in, you know, like a little flyer in the brochure.
Okay.
All right, anything else? You have anything else?
I don't. I have a lot of great notes.
Okay.
So, a lot more work to do. It's a never ending. But yeah, I'm really grateful you guys came up with, I was like, man, we've talked about this so many times. I don't think there's anything else to talk about. And look at it. It's like all these new things that come up. So yeah, I guess it's just something that we just probably need to revisit every few months just to, you know, see if there's anything else that's come to mind. But yeah, I'll try to look into as many of these as I can and report back,
Okay.
and any that we implement.
And number 9, you have struck out, so is that just not feasible or?
Yeah, we reached out to the Mall of Peddlers, and they say they no longer offer a community bulletin board, so. Well, thank you so much for brainstorming again, or for Vera for bringing it up again.
Okay. All right, I'd like to adjourn this meeting today at 7:43.